pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Nice tunes. Let's get happy tune.
Yeah.
Okay, roll call. Okay, what?
She's busy muting.
Councilman Jello Costenson.
Here.
Mayor Kaczynski.
Here.
Councilor Lutz.
Here.
Councilor Payne.
Here.
Councilor Rosso.
Here.
Councilor Yonada.
Here.
Councilor Beach. There you have four.
Okay, now we have our audience of citizens. If anyone needs to or wants to, they need to also. If they want to speak to us about anything on the agenda tonight or any other issue in town, please feel free. This would be your time to speak up. Okay.
I think,
Do we have any take?
I think Dave, you're muted, Dave. Do you want to say something? Okay, there you go.
Am I on?
Yeah, now you are.
Thank you. I had to get a 17-year-old in here in order to know how to do this.
Exactly.
How embarrassing.
And Mayor Chris Soucy's on as well. I don't know if you wanted me to just tell you a little bit about the program before you get into the recognition piece, or?
Yeah, so we don't have any, so we have no.
So there's no one for audiences.
Okay, so we'll close the audience of citizens and, oh, there's Donna joining. That's good. Hi, Donna. So yeah, Chief, please, before we get to the recognition, yes.
Okay, well, first of all, appreciate you inviting us to attend the meeting. I mean, we created this program. It's a recognition program that certainly enhances the recognition, our staff get. And basically, it began in January. It's a program that's primarily based on peer submission. So started January, every month employees submit their peers for the good work that they do. And then our command staff, chief and I on command staff, we review every month. And, we were happy to announce that Dave is our first employee of the quarter. This is a brand new program for us. So we're going to have one employee of the quarter for the whole year, and we're going to try to culminate the whole thing. We're going to partner with hopefully some community groups and do a dinner for an officer of the year and a rookie of the year award. And that will be officers with less than 3 years on are eligible for a rookie of the year type thing. So, Dave's work over the past quarter, you got the write-up in your packets, but it runs the gamut from being assaulted, using force to make an arrest, having blood thrown on him during the booking process. And then on the flip side of that, he's engaged in the community, tossing around a football when he's on a complaint about some loud kids playing in the street. So it runs the gamut. He did a great job for us. He has a vast amount of experience he brought with him from New Britain when he supervised their detective bureau. He did a tour in our bureau as an acting detective for 4 years, and now he's transitioned back out onto the road. And really that transition has been fantastic because he's taken all those skills and all the work knowledge and job knowledge that he has, and it's translating in the field. And he did a tremendous job for us.
Thank you, Chief. So yeah, we just wanted to, I thought it was nice to bring it to the council meeting, and I know you had sent it to all of us, Chris, and also Rohan, Dave. We certainly appreciate your service to the town and your prior service in New Britain, and some interesting situations you've been involved in. Obviously, it looks like you handled them well. Probably the most dangerous is dealing with a bunch of kids, though. I gotta say that's probably dangerous enough right there, right? But you,
That
but you did a great job, and we certainly appreciate you joining the Berlin Police Department and being a great officer for us. So just want to thank you for that, and great to see you recognized for it from your
Thank you.
peers, especially, right?
Absolutely. That's the most important facet of this.
So again, congratulations, and stay safe out there.
Thank you. I will. And I appreciate everyone's time this evening.
Thanks.
Good job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. We'll go ahead and move on to our meeting agenda. It starts with our consent agenda. We have six items, donation to the Timberland Men's Golf Club, donation of a round of golf for 4 and 2 cards as a raffle prize for the Greater New Britain Chamber, donation of a round of golf from Hungerford's Nature Center, 21st anniversary auction, $3,000 donation from the Timberland Men's Golf Club for deposit into the golf club donation account. Monetary donations for the Peck Memorial Library Agency to purchase adult books, and another donation, Friends of the Library miscellaneous account to be used. Purchase of 2 books in Helen's name in honor of her retirement, and a donation $125 for liquor funds to the supplies expenditure account, the police department. So that's our consent agenda. Any questions on that or comments? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and take a motion.
Sure, Mr. Mayor, I will make a motion to accept these 6 items on the consent agenda.
Second on that?
Second.
You, any other comments or questions?
Can I just
Done.
make a,
Yes, Donna, yes.
I'm sorry, I'm going to abstain from voting on one of them because there's a conflict there with Hungerford with me. So I don't know how you want to handle that. Sorry, throw the wrench in, guys.
That's okay. We can,
That needs to be removed from consent.
so we'll remove that, number 3 from consent.
Okay.
Make it a separate one. We'll vote after. So this will be
Thank you.
1 through 6, excluding 3. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. And now we can, separate motion for.
Mr. Mayor, I will make a motion to accept consent agenda item number 3.
Second on that.
Second.
Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And 1 abstention.
Yes, I abstain. Thank you.
In favor?
Aye.
Oh, I already said that, right? Yeah. Oh, I'm having a rough night.
Trained over
Yeah, I don't know
here.
what's going on tonight. Yeah. Okay. Go on to new business.
All right, thank you. Good evening, everyone. First item on the agenda is an update from Deputy Chris Silsey on the status of the motor vehicle tests and larcenies going on in Berlin. Chris?
Okay, good evening again. This is just a follow-up from Chief Klett from your last meeting. Our report, our numbers for April were good. They were trending in the right direction. Stolen cars, we had 1 in April, which was down 6 from the previous month. Well, it wasn't your typical stolen car either. It was discovered, it was parked up on Depot Road property in between some shipping containers, and it wasn't even discovered for a while. So even though 1 stolen car we had is kind of an aberration there. As far as car break-ins, vehicle theft from vehicle, we had 13 in April, and that was down from 34. Our parts and accessories category, which is includes catalytic converters, we had 4 in April, and that was down from 10 the previous month. So we're attributing this to our efforts, but there's also intel that Hartford has rounded up over a dozen of their known thieves, and the New Britain crew that we were getting hit pretty hard with is currently locked up right now as well. So that may be contributing to our declines, but at any rate, it's good news.
That's great. Thanks. That's excellent. Yeah. Well, it's, sometimes takes some time, but sounds like the the system is working. We know you guys have put some extra time into it. We appreciate that. And looks like our neighbors in different towns have put some time into it. And right, I assume now, right, and the court system's open now, right? Or
Yes, they resumed operations, yes.
so hopefully that may have helped us as well. So that's good news. Let's hope it continues that way.
You got it.
Appreciate it, Chief. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you, Chris.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to
You're
make a
welcome.
motion to add something to the agenda tonight.
Okay.
Sure. This is my opportunity to do that before.
Oh, okay.
Guess we'll add this, scheduling the public hearing for Small Cities Community Development Block Grant. Add into the agenda for the next item.
Next item, okay. All right, motion on that? Or
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. So next topic.
Are we taking this one now?
Yes. All right, added it to, I guess, what is it, 1A or?
What is fine?
Yeah. The only reason why I'm asking is I'm not sure if Joe Bajowski is there.
Oh,
Yeah, he is.
He is? Okay. All right.
oh yeah, there he is.
So, town is considering applying for a CDBG grant, on behalf of the Housing Authority, the senior center. I'm sorry, senior housing project. And, part of that, we have to schedule a public hearing. And, Mr. Bajowski is here to give you a little background on that. So,
Well, as per my last appearance, we are applying for a community development block grant in the amount of $1 million towards infrastructure improvements on the site. And also demolition of the existing structure and remediation of any hazardous materials present. So part of that process, as Arosh has stated, is holding a public hearing to solicit input from the general public. I believe Mr. Mahoney has selected a date, or you guys are going to select a date for that public hearing. I've not seen the agenda item that he's developed, but what do you call it? I'm assuming that he's gonna recommend a date for the public hearing. And you guys will just vote to establish it tonight.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, if I may add, the agenda item specifies the date as May 18th.
Yes.
For the public hearing, 6:30 p.m.
Okay. All right, so we'll go ahead and take a motion on this.
Okay, I move to schedule a public hearing by the Berlin Town Council on Tuesday, May 18th, 2021 at 6:30 p.m. to discuss the fiscal year 2021 Community Development Block Grant Program proposed for the Knights of Columbus Housing Project to solicit citizen input.
Second on that?
I second.
Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Joe.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 2 is a transfer of funds for the Scully's restroom renovations. Kevin's not here, so I'll pick this one. You probably recall some time ago, the council approved this project. We have done some of the repairs pertaining to the drain issue. But the bids have come in and it's, a little bit higher than what we anticipated. We are going to bring you the entire project for your consideration at the next meeting. The purpose of this agenda item is to transfer some of the funds that's remaining in the capital projects and the general fund to the Scully's restroom repair fund, so that we can have sufficient funds when the project comes for approval at the next meeting.
Okay, thanks, Rob. All right, so we'll go ahead and take a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move to transfer $11,000 from the townwide repairs account and $10,000 from the dam EAP account to the transfer to other funds account, all in the general fund, to fund Scalise Field restrooms renovations, pending the approval of the Board of Finance.
Second on that.
I second.
Any other questions, comments from the council? Hearing none, long time coming. Glad to see this started soon. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Agenda item number 3 pertains to an item at Timberland Golf Course, requiring a big waiver. Jerry Salvio is available to give you the background. Jerry?
Yeah, Jerry, something's going on with your audio.
Either the chipmunks have taken over.
It's very, Jerry, it's extremely, your voice is extremely quick. Do you want to disconnect and call in?
Try not.
I don't know what's going on with your audio. Can you call in the number? I can give you the phone number. Okay, it will be the 1-929-205-6099.
Which time to go, of course.
All right. I don't know if you need a meeting ID number. It would be 932-362-1233. If you need the passcode, it's 188160.
Saturday Night Live, got nothing on us, let me tell you.
Yeah. Thought it was just, you know, like,
Didn't realize Timberland was top secret. So scrambled.
We actually sent something to Mars and it got there, huh? That's what I think. Can't get the Zoom call.
There's no worse feeling than when you're in a meeting, like on a Zoom, and you either can't get in or you can't be understood.
Oh, I know.
Or
Always
if
that.
something isn't working. It's so,
I do it all the time. Yeah. Nothing new here from all of us.
Okay.
Hey. All right. Jerry,
Back.
Yes, I can hear you.
you're back. You're back. Good, nice.
I put the helium in the back room. I'm ready to go. Okay, are we good to go then?
Yeah, go ahead. You're good.
Okay. Okay, from the land of the chipmunks. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Before you, you have a bid waiver request for Dunning Sand and Gravel of Farmington. We are going to exceed the $10,000 threshold, spending threshold with them. The primary reason for this is the project that's about to take place on holes 5 and 6. We're going to require approximately 250 to 300 yards of topsoil. Dunning Sand and Gravel has worked with the course for a number of years since I've come on board anyhow. And I found them to offer the best product with regards to the growing medium as well as the best price. So with that all being said, I would like your permission to exceed that $10,000 threshold with them and continue on with the project on holes 5 and 6.
Thanks, Jerry. Motion.
Mr. Mayor, bidding procedures for Dunning Sand and Gravel to provide topsoil required for the project
6.
The same is required for day-to-day operations of the golf course for an amount not to exceed $17,750. This is in the best interest of the town.
Second. Questions for Jerry or comments? None? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, I muted him.
Agenda item number 4 is a repurpose some of the money that was earmarked for purchase of a backhoe for Timberland, and we want to rebuild the backhoe Timberland Golf Course because of the work requirement and the size that is needed. But I'll have Jim Simons give you the history and the background. Jim, over to you.
Yo, start the camera. Good evening. How is everybody?
How are you?
All right, you all can hear me. So originally, about a year ago, we approached you with the suggestion that we put some money together and purchase a smaller, older unit to replace the 29-year-old unit that's at the golf course that had a hydraulic pump failure. Since the change in administration at the golf course, they have approached me and requested that, told me or informed me that they cannot utilize a smaller unit and they really need one that's the same size as the unit they have now or a little larger. For us to purchase that would mean that we would have to increase that budget figure substantially. So we began to look at other options out there. We did find a couple, although they're older units than what we have now. And in talking with the employees at the golf course, we developed a plan to take the unit that we have currently, and we know the condition of that unit, and put some money into it and do a refurbishment of that unit mechanically, not cosmetically, but mechanically. And which should give them an extended period that they could be able to utilize that for projects on the golf course only. So what we're looking for is a transfer of funds from the purchase account to a parts account that would provide funding to purchase parts, to do the refurbishment on it. And then approval by you, the council, to accept the change that we are going to make now.
Okay, thanks, Jim. Okay, well, makes sense. So go ahead and I'll get 2 motions.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, the first motion, I move to approve the budget transfer of $15,000 from the golf course tractor backhoe account to the 500 account labeled parts, providing funding to rebuild the current golf course backhoe.
Second on that. Second. Any other questions for Jim on that motion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? So moved.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Second motion, Jim.
Don't go, sorry. That's okay. I move to approve the reallocation of funds originally earmarked for the purchase of a backhoe to purchase necessary parts and labor to rebuild a backhoe for Timberland Golf Course, the amount not to exceed $15,000.
Second. Thank you, Charlie. Any other questions on this second motion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Jim. Yeah.
Agenda item number 5 is an amendment with WMC Consulting that is needed for a peer review contract. Maureen Juicy's able to talk about that.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. This item is related to the zoning regulations allow the Planning and Zoning Commission to obtain technical and legal assistance in evaluating complex applications under certain circumstances. And the applicant is required to pay for those services by providing the town with a deposit of 150% of the estimated cost of the services, but the town then processes the payments to the consultants. The commission determined, the Planning and Zoning Commission determined that peer review was appropriate for the mixed-use development project for 2008 Berlin Turnpike LLC, which is known as 404 Berlin Turnpike or the Diadio project. And we obtained consultant estimates and contracts were drawn for those estimates. WMC Consulting Engineers estimated $7,500 and Gorman York Planning Consultants estimated $6,000. The cost of the services, which included thorough review reports and ongoing input throughout the review process, have exceeded the estimates that we were given by them for the complex project over the length of time that the meetings have occurred. Therefore, staff is requesting approval for the town manager to enter into a contract amendment with WMC Consulting Engineers to increase the total not to exceed cost to $11,250, which is the 150% of the original estimate. The town manager will also enter into a contract amendment with Gorman York to increase the total not to exceed cost for their peer review to the 150%, which will result in $9,000. I just want to reiterate that the cost will be paid from an account which the applicant provided the funds for, and the account is titled Due to Berlin Turnpike 2008 LLC.
Okay, thanks, Maureen.
Yep.
If you don't have any questions for Maureen, we will go ahead and take a motion.
Mayor, I move to authorize the town manager enter into a contract amendment with WNC Consulting Engineers to review services related to the 404 Berlin Turnpike project, amount not to exceed $11,250, paid due to the Berlin Turnpike 2008 LLC account.
Second on that?
Second.
Any other comments or questions from the council? Hearing none. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries.
Thank you, Maureen.
Thanks, Maureen.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good night.
Agenda item number 6 pertaining to recycling processing agreement, First Amendment. The rest of the stuff is all Mike having come to the podium.
Yes, sir. Good evening.
Hey, Mike.
The first item is we're part of a 14 community committee that handles our solid waste and recycling materials. Murphy Road has been taking care of the recyclable materials for our town and the other 13 towns. The agreement is expiring at the end of June, so we have a contract extension which will extend this contract to, let's see here, I think it's 2024. Attorney D'Onofrio reviewed the First Amendment agreement, and his comments were actually incorporated into this execution contract. So we're trying to get this authorized and back to the Bristol Facility Operating Committee, along with the other communities, before July 1st.
Any questions for Mike on this? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and take a motion.
Okay, I move to authorize the town manager to execute an agreement entitled First Amendment to Acceptable Recyclables Processing Agreement between Bristol Resource Recovery Facility Operating Committee and the town of Berlin and Murphy Road Recycling LLC.
Second on that.
Second.
Any other comments or questions from the council? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Agenda item number 7, request for catch basin materials related to roadway repaving projects.
Yes, this is fun stuff. We are going to be starting a paving program. We should be doing 2 roads by the end of this month. As part of that, we have to redo a lot of drainage on the roads, catch basin tops, pipes, from outfall. So, what we'd like to do is utilize, as we have in the past, the DAS contract for this. It has 2 suppliers, United Concrete and Connecticut Precast Concrete, for these various items. They're very competitive as far as costs go. So we would like to utilize up to $40,000 per fiscal year over the life of this contract. This contract actually runs into 2024, which is kind of nice because we can use it for a couple of construction seasons. So we'd like to get your authorization to use this contract for the next couple of fiscal years.
Go ahead, take a motion.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, I move to utilize the Connecticut DAS contract number 20 PSX 0137 to purchase necessary concrete catch basin materials for the amount of $40,000 per fiscal year or beyond if the contract is extended by the state of Connecticut.
Second on it.
Second.
Any questions or comments for Mike from the council? Hearing none. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Agenda item number 8 is asphalt pavement crack sealing contract.
Yes, and this is different from repaving. What we're trying to do is nurse some of the roads that are beginning to crack, to get them through a couple of seasons before we have to repave. The CROG has a contract number 708 that has 10 companies on contract. It's a unit cost-based contract for crack sealing and crack filling. We'd like to use that. It's actually valid through the end of this year, or actually through September, so we can use it for this construction season.
All right, take a motion on that.
Sure. I move to authorize the town manager to enter into a unit price contract to purchase asphalt pavement crack filling services utilizing the CROG contract number 708, the most cost-effective and qualified contractor.
Second.
Second.
Any comments or questions for Mike, council? Hearing none. Vote on the motion. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Thank you.
Whatever, Mike.
Agenda item number 9 is award of bids for reconstruction of town roadways.
Yes, similar to some other items, we want to use 3 DAS contracts for these, which are all unit-based contracts. One is for reclaiming, which is where we actually, if a road is basically it's failed, we'll take the pavement and the subbase, grind it up. The services are they just grind the whole thing, pulverize it, prepare it for paving. So that's a unit cost contract. That is number 190. Paving is what it sounds like. It's putting hot mix asphalt down, either on an overlay or a full paving section. That's contract number 261. And then milling, which is sometimes we'll just mill off the wearing surface, 2-inch, 1-inch overlay, 1-inch mill and overlay. And that's contract number 0167. We can basically pick the vendors from these contracts, which are most cost effective and are available. So we'd like to use these for this season and for next season.
Take a motion on this.
Sure. I move to approve utilizing the state of Connecticut DAS contract numbers 18 PSX 0190, 19 PSX 0261, and 20 PSX 0167 for the 2021 and 2022 construction seasons for the purpose of reconstructing and paving roadways.
Second on that.
Second.
Any questions or comments from the council?
Just a quick
Mike?
question.
Yeah.
This is for our standard repaving we do every year.
Yep.
I understand there's a project going to happen on Christian Lane and Deming Road.
Yes.
Is that going to be bid as a unit contract, or will these apply to that project?
It'll be actually a standalone. That's actually funded by the CROG through the LATSIP. And it's 2.6 miles. It's Christian Lane, Deming Road, and Porter's Pass. I mean, these are heavily trafficked roads with a lot of truck traffic. That's gonna be, because of the LOTSIP program, we actually have to bid it out. But it will have unit price, a unit price, aspect to it. But it will not, it won't be through the DAS contract. It'll be the contractors like Tilcon or whoever. Yes, exactly. So it'll be a low bid approach, not the DAS contract.
Glad to see those roads getting done.
Yeah, that's a great project, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
hoping to squeeze it in this season.
Oh, that'd be great. Okay, and this, motion before us, any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Agenda item number 10 is a bid award for road construction materials for town roadways.
Right, this is different in that this is materials that we pick up. Our guys go and pick this up at their, usually at Tilcon. The contract for 311 is for asphalt, hot mix asphalt. That's usually Tilcon that's dumped into our trucks. That's on a per ton basis. That contract is valid through the end of February 28th of next year. So we'll cover us through this season. Then contract 115 is for sand, topsoil, process, crushed gravel, screen gravel, anything we pretty much need for drainage or for pavement prep. And that actually runs through 2024, which is nice because we get a couple of construction seasons. These are all DAS contracts, unit price, so we'd like to get authorization to use these. And we have in the past.
Take a motion on this?
Okay, Mr. Mayor, I move to approve utilizing the state Connecticut DAS contract numbers 18 PSX 0311, 20 PSX 0115 for road construction materials. Stated contract dates or beyond if the contract is extended by the state of Connecticut.
Second on that?
Second.
Any questions or comments from council members? None, then vote on the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved.
Agenda item number 11, One Move Road, street line painting in the board.
Yes, this covers our striping of the yellow lines, the parking stalls, the arrow stop lines, crosswalks, anything. This CROG contract has 29 items in it, all on a per linear, dollars or actually cents per linear foot basis. There's 3 firms on the bid, so we'd like to use this CROG contract, which is number 713. It is valid to the end of this year, so we will just select the most, cost-effective and available contractors to do this work.
Thanks, Mike. Second, or motion?
Sure, I move to authorize the town manager to enter into a unit price contract to purchase street line painting services utilizing the CROG contract number 713 with the most cost-effective and qualified contractor.
Second. Second. Any comments or questions? Mike, yes?
Yeah, I have a question. I don't ever remember doing this one. We're allowing someone to go out and get a cost-effective and responsible contract without having the bids in front of us. Have we done this before?
Well, I have the bids with me. I mean, I have, what we would be doing is basically for each category, like there's 29 items. So if there's, for example, double center, the center lines, the double yellow lines, we would go in and we'd basically pick the cheapest for that particular item, assuming they're available.
We don't have that, huh? That sheet.
No, you don't. And if you, I can give it to you if you want. It's
I'll take your first one.
yeah, it's it's essentially 4 pages and it's got all the items. So what we would do is go through here and actually pick. We typically use safety marking. That's one of the on the bidders here. So we look at the price, make sure they're competitive, and we go with them. The police department uses them, we use them. So if there's a significant cost difference and we see that there's another vendor that's cheaper, we would use them.
I would just include that next time.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Peter. Any other comments or questions for Mike? Hearing none, I'll take a motion. Oh, we had the motion, right? Yeah, sorry. Motion, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? So moved.
Thank you, Mike.
Well, thanks, Mike, for
Okay.
got us through the whole road, paving, painting process. Good for anyone listening out there and us.
Yeah.
See the amount of work we're gonna be doing, which is great.
One of the things that happens is the DAS contracts all come out at this time.
Okay.
So I would have liked to do this earlier in the season, but the DAS, and it makes sense, you're coming into the season.
Yeah.
So that's why you got a batch.
Yeah, well, that's all right. We got it done, so.
Yep. Okay, let's start
Appreciate
David.
appreciate all the work to get done. Yeah, thanks.
Sure, thanks.
Thanks, Mike. Agenda item number 12. If you recall, at a previous council meeting, you had requested that we put an insert tax bill, show where the money comes from and how it's spent. So spend a good amount of time, I think a couple of meetings ago, talking about the number. What you have here is what we submitted Board of Finance as part of their budget presentation to you. And this is what the voters actually voted at the referendum. And they have included numbers so that you have it and you received it already. And you participated and how it was voted. And there's no action necessary, but we want to share this with you before we decide to include this as an insert when the tax bill goes out in July.
Great, so this is what is gonna go out, right, Roche?
Yes.
So, did we, debt service?
Yeah, so
Okay, so you have that at the bottom.
So I think there was a discussion last time about the 50% versus 56%. 56% includes the shared cost. And then you had requested out of the debt service, which is it's normally in the town, put a footnote as to what portion of that is general government versus education. It's approximately half and half. So that's what you have here.
So if we included the debt service into both, both debt services into the chart, obviously the percentages would go up, right?
Yes.
For instance, if the education went into to theirs, the general government, the government side. That's fine as long as we have that noted at the bottom. So can I ask if it's, just because it's, I've talked a little bit to Julia about this Board of Ed president. Would it be possible, just a matter of information going forward, maybe for our next meeting, just to check with, I don't know, I forget how many towns are on that list from the Board of Ed and the budget. There was, I know, Glastonbury, Newington, I think most of them were surrounding towns. If we pick 3 off that list, I'm just curious because, remember, Roche, we had this discussion before about charts, right? Because there was a chart in the audit, which is different. And I know we went through this whole explanation, and that's fine. I know that included different things, that the payments for the teacher's pension fund, which is, that probably complicates it more. But as far as the debt goes, just to see if we call those towns, I'll call one myself. I'll call Rocky Hill because I know that mayor pretty well. I'll ask her just for the heck of it so we know. Just curious to see how they report their budgets. So for the future and even for now, I know the budget's done and we're on our way, which is all great. But it'd be good to know. So, next year we can at least compare apples to apples. If we want to pick other towns and however they report their budget, we would know perhaps a truer representation of what our tax dollars pay for, be it the government or the Board of Ed.
Happy to do that.
Okay, appreciate that. And these will what go to the printer for our tax bills. Okay, all right. What do you guys think? Comments on the chart? Yeah. Anybody? We good? Good. Okay, all right, and so this is with the referendum, right? Vote here.
Yeah.
So do we think the people were perhaps confused on the questions? just looking at the numbers, you know, they got voted approved, and that's great, but it seems like, right?
I think the intent has always been to try to understand why somebody voted no,
Yeah,
but people fill it in no matter what. And you can
Right.
see by the numbers,
right,
all right?
yeah,
And
The whole 397 that showed up to vote.
yeah,
well, that
it's
was,
a very long day for a
That-
lot of people.
that was a big issue too.
Yeah. So,
Right? Speaking of that though, I mean, maybe next year, I don't know if it's worth, I mean, I tend to think perhaps this year, people got out of the habit last year, right? Maybe we didn't vote last year because of COVID, so I'm sure people maybe weren't paying attention, or people that paid attention this year were happy with the budget, you know, which I suppose we can make a lot of assumptions, which may or may not be true. But maybe if we publicize it a little better, so people are aware. I know it's on the town website. I don't know if it's worth the town putting out a couple signs on major roadways, hey, referendum vote. I don't know. I mean, we certainly would like a higher percentage, you know, to come out. But
It's a difficult process.
Sure.
And, you know, of course, when I first started here, you used to have to petition to go to, we had town meetings. And that was an interesting introduction for me to Berlin. But it was lively, you know, and it was, people would come to the auditorium and they would talk about the budget. Through the years, people have just, every town finds it. They're finding that people are not as engaged because they're busy. They're doing, you know, they're involved with sports or whatever. I don't know what the answer is. When we did the charter revision back in 2016, I think it was, this is where we went to the 2 referendums and we broke out the questions the way we did, and also the too high, too low. And it's in the charter. So I'm not sure how to do it. We always talk about the fact that we want to educate people more and to make sure they're aware of it. Ironically, and I think it came really from Councilor Beach, there was an issue even where the newspapers were not covering this. And you can reach out to the newspapers and they don't talk to you. I've never gone through a cycle where there's been no reporters, there's nothing. I send the packet, after I send it to you, of the town council information, to the reporters. I don't hear back. I don't hear thank you. I don't hear I'm no longer a reporter. I don't hear anything back. I don't understand it. I know that, you know, Mrs. Sullivan in the town manager's office has reached out to them. It's a struggle to get them to get things in the paper. They're willing to take anything that we want to pay for, but not to do articles and everything. And Mrs. Sullivan and I spoke about it today, is maybe we need to do a better outreach. It's just that we don't know, you know, and we can work on it. You know, Chrissy's very good about these things. But we've tried to do different avenues, and I'm open to anything.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just us. There was another town in the paper that had the same low
Yeah.
percentage. I mean, it's not overall.
And part of it is when
I had a
people,
constituent
Yeah.
that suggested we place, you know, those stickies they put on the front page of like the Herald or the Citizen? And I thought that was a good suggestion, like a week or two before the budget vote, is to put that sticker on there. I know it's annoying, they'll move it because they want to read what's under it, but at least they'll take a look at it.
that's a great idea. I can reach out and see how much it may cost. All right, because there will be a.
$800 is in my
Was that on
mind, of
the-
course.
Was that,
There's
in-
not a lot in my mind to begin with.
was that in the New Britain Herald?
I don't recall. I don't.
So,
I don't know, do you want New Britain Herald or do you want the Berlin Citizen?
I mean, you gotta, I mean, the Citizen at least gets to everybody,
Yeah.
most people in town, we know that.
Everyone gets it, it's free.
Yeah, so I would certainly hit the Citizen.
Can
I
definitely.
was gonna say, my other town, I live in the town.
Yeah.
Send a letter to every resident.
Oh.
Still don't show up.
Really, they still don't show.
Personalized letter
That's sad, yeah,
with that name, address.
really, yeah, that's kind of, it's the way it is.
No.
We've had good turnout.
Yeah,
Like I have a whole printout of these, every
Yeah.
referendum. And I can forward it to you so you can see it from when I started here.
oh, yeah.
And, you
Curious
know,
to see.
but it's when it's a volatile, you know, something they're upset because it's too high and they don't like it, or, you know, something along those lines. But I'll send you the information.
Yeah.
But it has everything in it. It has not just the budget, it also has the different referendums we've had through the year.
Yeah, I mean, I think we know typically people come out and vote when they're unhappy.
Usually, yeah.
When they're happy, they don't come out. So, I mean, that's probably a good thing if we follow through with that logic. But still, you know, you'd like to have a bigger representation of what people think. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is, and it all passed, and that's great. So before we do it next year, do you think, I'm just looking at the ballot, even when I was there, I mean, hopefully I kind of knew what I was voting for, but I wonder if there's a better way to just, I know, just people didn't, right, it's easy to misunderstand how to vote, right? You voted yes for it, but then you go too high, too low, and which.
It's
I don't know
hard
if
to
you-
control that, so,
I know,
you know, when you had the.
I know we already organized it once, right, I think?
Yeah, so when you had the lever machines, you
Yeah.
could block out things. So that's, you know, how long I've been involved.
Yeah.
You know, is to just do the.
Right, the
You know,
big-
you
the
could
big
do you could vote your whole ticket and not worry about anything.
Right,
But those days are long gone, so now it is paper.
Yeah.
And which is good because for recounts or anything, you can actually examine the document. But people from day one, the first time that we've done this with the question, they would vote yes and then say too high, you know, or yes and too low something. But they don't say, oh, well, I only voted no, so let me
Yeah,
don't, you know, I voted yes, so I can't answer that second question. And
Yeah.
They don't do that.
maybe we'll look at the ballot again and just see if there's any other way to, you know, separate it somehow. I don't know, I mean,
Yeah. We're kind of locked in because it's in the charter this way.
yeah. Oh, yeah, no, I mean, the questions would be the same, but I mean, maybe how we organize it on the ballot would somehow separate it. I don't know. If we look at it and put our heads together, maybe it would make more sense to people, or not. I don't know how to change it, but, because I thought we did change it to make it more, you know, more self-explanatory on, you know, if you vote yes, then,
It's really not, though. It's very convoluted.
right? It is, right? Yeah, I know, that's what I mean. It's
Never been incorporated in the first place, but
yeah, well, it's time for charter revision, but, so, all right, well, we'll talk about it.
Kate, I got a question. Do we ever, does the town ever put out signs like budget referendum date coming up? Some of our major intersections?
I don't know if we have or not. That's a registered voter.
You know, just some of our major
Definitely
intersections in
look
front of
into
the town hall, train overpass, I don't know.
I mean-
Besides special interest groups putting, you know, yes or no signs out there in the past, I'm just talking about just a generic townwide.
So if you put out a couple signs that say referendum, a budget referendum in April 27,
Please vote or something.
yeah.
honestly, I think that would have more impact because even the Citizen, I don't really know too many people that read it, quite frankly. You know, I mean, even if you get it, it's like it goes right into the recycling bin. And, you know, mere fact that they don't even, you know, want to run substantive articles or, you know, anything that has to do with voting is a sheer indication that, you know, it's a little bit of a brag these days, you know, so I'm thinking that, you know, signs would probably be more,
I had talked to
More
the
significant.
registrars.
have more impact.
Joan was on earlier. I don't see her now. But I can talk to the registrars tomorrow and we can look at, you know, getting signs and seeing about putting them out. All right.
Just Jeff, while you're and I know you represent a lot of towns, any words of wisdom from other towns, or we're all in the same boat?
I think, you know, in general, turnout tends to be low. I think last year certainly played a role in this year because a lot of people didn't know that it was back to referenda this year. You know, it really wasn't something that was all that clear. I was getting asked, you know, for opinions as late as a month ago as to, you know, do you think the governor is going to issue an executive order for the fiscal year 22 budget? So it seemed like there really wasn't a lot of chatter. There really wasn't a lot of awareness that there were going to be referenda again this year. I think that's part of it. You know, some other towns that I represent, they do put signs, you know, on a town green, on a key intersection, outside of town hall. They do some signage, and they also on local access TV will have, you know, reminders. But still, you know, the turnout ends up being very, very low. You know, some towns have charter provisions that require a minimum percentage of electors to vote yes for the budget in order for the budget to be enacted. And that ends up leading to multiple referenda because they don't get enough people out the first time. So it is a statewide issue. You know, it's something that people scratch their heads about in every part of the state because it's so important. You know, it's something that individual residents feel directly. It's something that they can make a difference in, and yet they don't come out. So, you know, I can remember years ago, North Haven is the largest pure town meeting legislative body in New England. And it was probably about 20 years ago that the selectmen decided that they were going to send every budget to referendum. They used to have the town meeting, they'd get around 400 people that would come to the high school auditorium. Then they decided, you know what, we ought to open this up to everyone. They probably get about 1,200 people that vote in a typical referendum, but still, you know, that's well below 10% of voters. And, you know, like Kate said, if there's, you know, if you had a big tax increase proposed, then you get a much higher turnout. But when everything is okay from a mill rate perspective, people don't really pay much attention. They don't make the effort.
Sure. No, thanks for that perspective. But yeah, I think that's.
So ironically, we have a new reporter who's in chat, and that is Erica that you see on the screen.
Okay.
And she is apologizing. I've not had an opportunity to introduce myself to everyone yet. I've been covering Newington as well as features and senior issues across central Connecticut for the last 10 years. Berlin was recently added to my feed. Feel free to reach out. So Erica, this is a reach out.
Okay, good. Appreciate that, Erica.
Is she writing for the Citizen or is she writing for another paper?
The Herald, right? Is she the Herald?
I'm thinking that she's with the Herald and.
The Herald.
Didn't we meet her at the opening?
Central Communications is the Herald. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, there is a new one for the Citizen, Nadia, right? Nadia, and she's been at a lot of events, you know, some of the ribbon cuttings and other stuff, but I think they're all, I believe they all have different towns they handle too. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So, well, yeah, so maybe we could do better next year with some signs. So appreciate all the input from everyone here. Jeff, thank you. Kate, so what we can do. Okay.
Right.
Yes.
Moving on. So you're comfortable with this?
Yeah, you guys all comfortable with the chart as it is going in, the tax bill?
Good. All right, thank you. So agenda item number 13. It's a new program that's been rolled out by the Department of Housing. It's called the Unite CT program. $235 million out there to assist people with rental and utility assistance. And one of our tenants in the town's mobile home park has applied for rental assistance. And we have received the paperwork from United CG. And as we looked at the agreement, one of the requirements that they would cover 85% of the tenant's rent for 6 months. And landlord, in this case, we are the landlord, we are required to waive 15% of the rent for the next 6 months, which is about $45 a month, comes up to about 270. So since you, the council, approved the rates, it's approved at $300. This is a different amount from what you've approved. They're coming back to you, seek your approval for your consideration.
All right. Thanks, Roche. Go ahead and take a motion.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, I move to authorize the town manager to execute the application of a tenant residing at the town's mobile home park for night CT program participation agreement, waive 15% of the rental income for a period of 6 months for a total of $270.
Second on that.
Second.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions from the council? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, so the town manager's report.
Handful of items for update. The last time I talked about the Berlin High School ductwork project, where the bids came in, we were anticipating around $600,000. They came anywhere from 900 to 1.2 million. So we asked the consultant, CDS Innovative Construction and Design Solutions, to sit with the contractor and go through the specs and understand where things were different. So I'm told by Doug Sola, they had a very productive meeting, and it appears that certain assumptions were made, and by pushing the timing of the project from high time in July to perhaps October or so, and then some other changes they made in materials, they might be able to produce a number, good amount. I don't know how much, and I'm not going to speculate on that. We're supposed to get the updated figures by the end of this week. So I'm fairly optimistic about getting close to, I don't know how close we can get, but by next meeting, we would have a proposal to you either day.
I mean, what wasn't the consultant's estimate, like 300,000?
It was over 300,000, but that was the raw cost.
Right, and I think we thought, I think the public building thought 500,000-600,000, and we put 800,000 aside, figuring we know how that goes, but now 1.2 million, right, is what?
Well, that's the high bidder.
But that's the high bid, yeah, okay.
One was 900, who specializes in this stuff.
Okay.
So let's
see what happens.
Yeah, a couple of weeks, we'll
Sure.
back to
Okay,
that. And again, we are going to do this project and get it done so that we can.
Yeah. No, we agreed to that, just, like a bit of a fun up there.
Talked about the senior center, community center, the need to have some public forums. The next time the Public Building Commission meets, we want to talk to them about that. EC and also the architect had advised us to have a subcommittee to champion this. And then also the timing of the referendum and when it needs to go on a public forum, sooner than later. Since this is handled by the PBC, we want to share this with them before we go out and schedule a date for a public forum to get feedback from the residents.
Yeah.
So that's going to happen the next time they meet.
Okay.
The other project that the elementary school air quality project, PBC has received the bids. And they will be probably this week or next week, I'm told, we'll have a letter with their recommendations on how to move forward. So just keeping you informed, a lot of these things are happening, but it's not like nothing is happening. They're working on it. I just want to inform, hopefully by the next time we meet, we'll have something from the Public Building Commission. Next one, I think I'm going to have Mike update you. It's our favorite topic, the truck wash bay.
Yes.
We have some pricing for that, and so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know truck wash, through that.
Another high bid situation.
That's great.
Just to give you some background, the truck wash design, the Public Building Commission liked the idea of a touchless drive-through system, which adds quite a bit of cost to the whole project. If you recall, we have just under $500,000 tucked away for this project. So we put together a rather detailed RFP that had the touchless system in it. And we got one bid for $885,000. So discussed that at the last Public Building Commission. So their approach is to rebid it. And also I did what I'm calling a postmortem on the bid to find out exactly why. And there were a lot of people at the pre-bid. There were 8 companies at the pre-bid down at the highway garage. And some of them had done the Norwich facility, which I toured, and it was great. It's a great system. So I was wondering why they didn't do it. They'd already done it. And so I got back some good feedback to put into the new RFP, but I'm just concerned that we're still going to get bids over $500,000 because of the touchless aspect. So we'll be discussing that in next week's PBC meeting to see how we can do it. And there's a couple of ideas we can give the bidders more time because it's a design build RFP. So the bidders actually had to put together some schematic floor plans and site plans to send in with the bid. So some of the feedback I got was, and some of them didn't get it until 2 weeks into the process because they pull it off the DAS website, not off our website. So learning that, like, well, we have to give them more time. So there's a couple of things, but I'll be discussing with the PBC as some ideas I have for maybe we put some alternates in so we can see where the money is and then decide what to go forward with. So that's sort of where it stands, but we're there. It's just we need to get the budget and the project aligned. So we'll see how that goes next week.
Okay. Thanks.
Sure. Yes.
I was approached by a local businessman. He wants to build a truck wash for one of his tenants. He suggested the possibility that the town pay per wash or something, go through the wash bay he wants to build. Is that, are we too far down the road or is that too impractical?
No, we're not. In fact, if you send me the location or the information, I'll check into that and I'll report that to the BBC next week. Because really, I mean, all options are on the table. You know?
So that still might be a possibility.
The PBC is running the show. I'm just, advisory staff, but I'll give you the information and I'll check it out. Also, I'll find out what kind of truck wash he's putting in. What I'm sure is a drive-through that,
He has a client or a tenant with a tractor trailer and he thought it might be work for both.
Yeah.
He's very close to the town yard.
Oh, okay. Well, that's definitely an option.
Wow, that's better. Jeez.
Well, yeah.
I mean, yeah, heck of a lot better.
It's gotta be close though,
Well, that's what I was gonna ask, like, Charlie, that's a great point. Is there any, I don't think there's any truck washes close to Berlin, are there? Are there any truck, you got trucks, there's nothing close, right?
Not a real truck washer. Outside one.
Yeah, but there's not a real.
This guy has a tenant that wants to.
The bed with a bag, like.
Wants to build a wash bay.
Yeah.
It might work for everybody, it might not. But
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, send me the information and I'll discuss it with them.
Very good. One more, we'll just hang up.
Okay.
You good with the truck wash?
Yes.
So this one, very quickly, at the last meeting, you had asked us to look into funding opportunities for the contingent fire district.
Oh, yeah.
Fire department, sorry.
Yeah.
For their parking lot. So I spoke with Jim Simons, who's fire administrator. I'm not surprised. I was not looking for him. There's $125,000 sitting with him. So he had some ideas. I discussed this with Mike. One option is which we're going to do, have Public Works go look at the parking lot and see if there are, what the issues are, understand them, and if there is something temporary fix we can do, buy some time. Right now, the road money and everything else is spoken for. And then also, I even spoke with Jim Mahoney. State is not crazy about giving money for parking lots, they give money for roads. More people use it. But it will give us some time to figure out another plan on how we might be able to secure funding for this in the long run. But in the meantime, if our own folks could go take a look at it and see how we can might be able to help. Great fix. Want to add anything, Mike?
No, I haven't gone out myself yet, but yet to the lot, but I heard it's in rough shape. So I was thinking we could do, maybe you could just do a little bit of an overlay to, keep it going for a couple of years, but I've heard it's been patched and repatched, so. But I want to go out there and take a look at it with Highway Super and maybe Dave too.
Okay, yeah, didn't Berlin Fire Department on the Turnpike, they just paved it, didn't they pave that big lot next to their department? I mean, I don't know what funds they use, but I know they're all independent, but, yeah, I don't know. Worth asking them what they, remember, because they just did that, wasn't that long ago, right?
No.
A nice lot in next to it.
Yeah, they got the property next door and they.
Yeah, did we kick, I don't know if we did we kick in for that? I don't remember. I know we kicked in for some stuff, but,
The paving.
not the paving, no.
Jim Simons, I see your name, I don't know if you're listening.
Oh, yeah, Jim's still there, okay. Jim?
It's just on and he's not there.
ZBB.
He would know.
Yep, I'm here.
All right.
Hey, there he is.
Can you tell us about the Berlin Fire Department parking lot?
Okay, so the Berlin Fire Department, we had a problem with parking at our firehouse because our lot at the firehouse is a non-conforming lot and actually didn't allow us to move out at all. So we approached the town when the Edelson property became available, and we entered an agreement with the town for the town to actually purchase the Edelson property. And in with that, we agreed that we would build a parking lot to meet our needs for now and in the future at no cost to the town. That was probably about 13 years ago. And it took us over 5 years to build a parking lot to where we are now, through different donations, working with the guys in construction to actually build that parking lot. So we went out, we went out to various contractors who came in and did the drainage for us, did some excavation in exchange for the dirt that was on a piece of property, which they sold. We went out to a local concrete provider who built the pad. It allows us to set up the aerials on there and do the training on there. We went out and we received a lot of donations and a lot of hard work within the company to do that. But that parking lot was built at no cost to the town. And in that agreement, we also have to maintain that parking lot. So every year we pay for the crack filling and all that stuff that goes along with that.
So, all right, so you guys pay for that, but the town did buy the land for you, so.
We could not afford the land all at once, and the town did purchase the land for us. And then we have a lease on the land, $1 a year with the town.
Yeah. Well, so I mean, the town contributed to that, so I mean, I'm just trying to compare it, right, that, so we don't have to buy the land here, we just need to.
Yeah, the town has contributed to many fire department projects.
Right, that's what I thought, yeah. No, that's good, so.
Most recently was the furnaces in East Berlin.
Right, that's right,
And the
yes.
furnaces in Kensington. We upgraded and replaced the big boiler units in the firehouses. And I want to think that was done, that was probably done, let's see, and I'm going back to my office, Arlene was working for me, so that was probably done 10 plus years ago, for those.
But the boilers were sooner than that, but whatever, I mean, we did, so yeah, so I knew there's something else we had paid for, so.
Yeah.
So can I just ask that Edelson property, Counselor Veach, what did that run the town at the time of that purchase in order for us to do that parking lot there? Do you recall?
I believe it was somewhere around $270,000 that they purchased that piece of property and they bonded that. That was underneath Mayor Selena did that.
Okay,
I don't know how long it's been since he's been around.
all right, thank you.
Do we have a cost? We don't have a cost on paving that, do we? Do we have a cost?
125.
I think there's
125?
a few estimates.
Yeah, I saw the bids, they were pretty tight. I think it was 113 to a little over 120, something like that, 123. It was a tight range. I think it was, but it was full depth. It was pulverizing the whole thing. One of the concerns I have is I heard it might be clay, so if you reclaim, you're gonna pull up some of the subgrade. You might not want to do that because you're gonna actually bring the organic material up. If it's gravel, it's fine, but if you pulverize below the pavement section and get into unsuitable material, you might actually, it might not be the best approach. So that's one thing I'd be concerned about, but we're gonna go take a look at it, and if we can, I think Steve Carp has some local knowledge of the subsurface conditions there. In other words, it's clay, so, yeah. So we'll take a look at it.
Thank you.
The other thing with the property at the Berlin Firehouse is there's over 7 acres that connects to Sage Park.
Mm-hmm.
And when the town retained most of that property for their open space or their use down the road for Sage Park.
Mm-hmm.
So that piece goes all the way back to the hardball diamond back there.
Okay. Well, I mean, listen, fire departments protect their lives and do a whole bunch for us, so I'm sure I'm sure we can find funding and work something out as we get through this, right? Yeah.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Just, that's all I have, is just a reminder, there's a joint meeting of the council and the golf commission this Thursday. It's a Zoom meeting. I have the National Golf Foundation, they submitted a proposal rather than doing a generic proposal. We're going to talk specifics about the proposal for Timberland. So I have asked everyone to read it and come prepared to ask questions. We can have a productive discussion.
That's at the high school.
Some have asked if they could, it's a Zoom meeting.
I think we're just gonna Zoom this one, because it's just
we can't go in there.
just a presentation.
Alright.
And I think right, we can do a presentation and then we can do
And then I will fly in for 1 hour meeting from Florida. So we're gonna do it Zoom, and we can do it well, just like this.
Yeah.
And they'll introduce themselves, give a little, talk about the approach, and we'll encourage everyone who's calling me to ask questions. Approach and how this will might work with them, or anything they have.
Yeah, and you sent out that, I saw, I was looking at today, the proposal from them, so we could look at that ahead of time, and then hopefully after that presentation, Peter will do, an in-person one with both committees, and we'll start discussing what's next, right?
Yeah.
So, that's good.
That's all I have.
Okay, thanks. So that's that'll be I guess that's the only special committee meeting coming up, 6 o'clock, right? 6 o'clock on Thursday?
Yeah.
Counselor Communications? Anything?
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I had 2 quick things today. It was Teacher Appreciation Day, so just wanted to say thank you very much to all of our teachers. Very difficult in the last year plus, and done a great job, so wanted to say officially thank you from me. And also thanks to the Rotarians and the Cub Scouts for doing a little cleanup around paper goods and over to Veterans Park. That's always great when we get people in the community to come out and help make the town a little bit better. So thank you very much for all your work.
That's great.
I had the delightful opportunity to attend the high school's production of Mamma Mia this week, which was absolutely fantastic. I mean, it was the first live production that they've had, and had the opportunity to do since the pandemic started. It was outside in the courtyard. It was just fantastic. The actors, the musicians, the band, the crew, just did a remarkable job. So it was really, really well done. Shout out to Tyler Boyle, Jeff Royce, the administration over there. It was really wonderful. So
great
fun.
Just to carry that out, As a grandparent of a basketball player this past year, the school staff, I guess the kids, put on that, they televised the basketball games.
Really?
And they had a play-by-play guy and a color guy, and they were phenomenal. Get over it. I mean, I'd rather listen to them than anyone else, to be honest. But I just to shout out to them, what a great job they did. Good. That's great.
The veterans have been awarded a national monument for Gold Star family.
Yes, I was gonna
in
mention that.
Veteran Park.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I believe the groundbreaking will be the 22nd. I look forward to that. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
And the town engineering department has been great. I got involved, they asked me to dig the hole for this thing, and Veterans Park is a polluted swamp, so we have to be very careful where we excavate.
Yeah.
There's a cap under it,
Yeah.
it's state regulated, and town engineering jumped right in, helped us lay it out and everything.
Oh, that's great. That's the 22nd, yeah, of May, yeah, it's a Saturday, right? It's Saturday.
This will actually, I think, be a tourist attraction for lack of a
Yeah.
better name for Berlin. It's a
Yeah.
big deal, the only one in Connecticut. There's gonna be one in each state, as we call.
Yeah, the Gold Star Monument, yeah.
Yeah, kudos to Pete Calcano for,
Yeah.
he's,
Oh, yeah, it's
he's
great.
an amazing man, just a wonderful, wonderful person.
Well, yeah, for them to, I mean, I'm sure what played into it was the beautiful park we have, right? I mean, that
Oh,
they
absolutely.
put together and.
It's the traffic in that park is unbelievable.
Yeah.
All during the day, people stop, walk around. I was amazed watching, we did a little sidewalk from over there. And I thought, who's gonna come here? You know, a couple people a day. Then even.
That's great.
That leads to a bigger question about geese.
Oh, what?
Geese,
Oh, the geese, yes, the geese, are the geese back over
they're
there?
all over Beretta Field.
They ordered some special chemical.
I know we've done some stuff, the goose
Yeah.
eater too, from the golf course, right? But they, right, haven't they tried to control the geese at the veterans? Park?
They found some chemicals.
Okay.
It appears orange for them. We tried to.
Hmm.
Smarter than me.
Geese think, well. I hope they put the chemical down before the ceremony.
Yeah.
That's great. On that vein too, I think next Thursday is the garden club. They had cleaned up Volunteer Park, right? I think that got sent out, right? Just reminding you guys, next Thursday, I want to say it's at 1:30. Pretty sure, they're having a little ceremony. They did a bunch of work there. The town helped out. The garden club helped out, so some more volunteers helped out and cleaned up that park. So that's just a little recognition too. So some good things coming in May. Okay, that's great. So acceptance of minutes. Take a motion.
We'll make a motion to accept the April 20th, 2021 meeting minutes.
Thank you, second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. And motion to adjourn? So moved.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No? Okay. Adjourned. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Good night all.
Folks, be well.